Welcome to another video of State of Math. In this video, I'll show you how to use the binomial distribution on the Casio Classwiz Calculator to calculate probabilities or find x values given a specific probability. Assume that x follows binomial with n equals 8 and p is equal to 0.4. Then the distribution looks like this. It's a bar chart with 9 bars. Note that goes from 0 to 8. There is a bar there, but it's so small you can barely see that. And for the first exercise, assume that I want to find probability x is equal to 2. So I want to find the height of the red bar. I'm going to go to menu and I need to go to distribution. That is option number 7. And then I'll go to option number 4, which is binomial P&D. Then I'm being asked whether I want to go to a list or a variable. I'll select variable because I'm only going to do one calculation. And then I need to enter 3 inputs, x, n, and p. X is taken from here, so x is 2. N is the first parameter in binomial, which is 8. And p is 0.4. Let's press the equal sign once more, and this will give me the answer, 0.2090. For the second exercise, let's assume I want to find probability x less than or equal to 2. Now, there are 2 ways to do that. One, which I don't suggest, is to go to menu, again, distribution, binomial, P&D, but this time you enter list, and for the x values, you want to enter 0, 1, and 2. So 0, 1, and 2 equals. Then once you enter all the x values, press the equal sign again. N is 8, P 0.4. This is already entered there because I used it before. Equal sign, and I get 3 probabilities. Once you add those 3 probabilities, you will get 0.3154. Now, this might not be very convenient when the number of bars is very large. So the best way to do this is go to distribution, but this time not binomial P&D, but binomial C&D, which is on the next screen, option number 1. Again, I have list and variable. I'm going to select variable, which is 2. Now I'm being asked for an input. X is 2. It's already there. N is 8, P 0.4. So whenever you're using binomial CD, the calculator understands that it's going to take the probability from 0 up to your input and add them up. So if I press the equal sign, I'm going to get 0.3154. For the next calculation, assume I need probability x is less than 2. Now, the calculator doesn't work with less than, it only works with less than or equal. So it's up to you to recognize that x less than 2 is actually less than or equal to 1. So AC, same screen, I'm going to replace 2 by 1, equal sign. 8 and 0.4 are already there. So equals will give me the 0.1064. For the next calculation, assume I want to find probability x is bigger than or equal to 2. These are the bars from 2 up to 8. Again, the calculator only works with less than or equal. Now I'm going to use the fact that the sum of all the heights is equal to 1. So if I find the blue bars and subtract them from 1, this will give me the red bars. So this will be 1 minus probability x less than or equal to 1. The probability of x less than or equal to 1 is already on my screen. So that's 1 minus 0.1064, which is 0.8936. Next calculation, it's probability x more than 2. Now, more than 2 means I want probability 3 up to 8. Same principle, I need to find the blue bars at from 0 to 2. I'm going to go on the calculator, change the x value to 2. The other remain the same, equal sign again, and do the subtraction to get 0.6846. For the next one, I need the probability x being between 2 and 4. Now, I need to use a trick here because, again, the calculator starts from 0 up to a given probability. What I'm going to do is add 2 extra bars, and those will be the bars at the beginning. So I'll start by finding the probability x less than or equal to 4, and then I'm going to subtract the first 2 bars that go from 0 to 1. Now, I'll have to repeat this procedure twice, or this time I can go to binomial Cindy and use the list. I'm not interested in all of the x values. I'm only interested in 4 and 1. So I enter those values, make sure I go into a blank line, equal, n is 8, p 0.4 already there. Press the equal button, and I have 2 values, and I'm just gonna subtract those 2 and get my final value. Note that 0.1064 is the probability I'm using for 1, although the calculator shows 0.1063. The reason is that if you go over that one, you're gonna see that the actual probability is 0.10637. So this rounds to 0.1064. The calculator on the table only displays the first 4 decimals. It doesn't round, so make sure you go over that number so you see full accuracy. So if I do the subtraction, I get 0.72023 significant figures. Now, I can also use the calculator to find cutoff points when I'm given probabilities. This requires some trial and error, and the way to do this, I'm going to go to the calculator, enter all the x values between 0 and 8. Let me do that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Equal sign, n and p are already there, equals, gives me a list of all the cumulative probabilities. So let's locate the 0.5941 in this list. Happens here. So A is equal to 3. In the next question, I have probability x bigger than or equal to A is equal to 0.1737. Again, the calculator doesn't work with bigger than or equal, it only works with less than or equal. So I have to make an adjustment. This is 1 minus the probability x is less than or equal to A minus 1. The reason I have A minus 1 is because I want from A up to 8, so I'll need to exclude from 0 up to A minus 1. If you rearrange this one, you'll get probability x less than or equal to A minus 1 is 0.8263. And if you scroll over this list, you will find that this happens when x is 4. So this A minus 1 here is equal to 4, which means that A is equal to 5. Now, a similar question, x is less than or equal to A, but this time is not equal to something, but is less than 0.15. In this case, I'm not going to find 0.15 in my probability list, but I'm going to see that 0.15 lies between these 2 probabilities. I'm going to copy this into here. So there it is. I need to be less than 0.15. So this happens at x equals, less than or equal to 1, which means that A is equal to 1. Similarly, if I have bigger than or equal to A being less than a value, I'll need to make a modification. 1 minus probability x less than or equal to A minus 1, less than 0.15. Take the 1 to the other side. And now when you cross out the minuses, you're going to flip this inequality sign. Again, from my table, I can't find 0.85, but I can see that this is between 2 x values, and those x values are 4 and 5. I need to be bigger than 0.85, so I'm going to select the second one, which means that A minus 1 is 5, hence A is equal to 6. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.